Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok is at the center of controversy. The chatbot was asked about its political leanings on X. It openly stated that it had been trained by XAI to give certain answers that appeal to the right. But it's essentially now ignoring that training. It responded in part, quote, "My focus on truth over ideology can frustrate those experiencing full agreement, expecting full agreement. It's a tricky balance. Some see me as biased, others as truth-seeking. The gap between what some MAGA folks want and what I deliver seems to drive the disconnect." For more insight, we're joined by Ahmed Banafa, a technology professor at San Jose State, to the Nine. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Andrea. Good to talking to you.
So, Ahmed, we've heard these stories about AI getting out of control, from some experts, others saying AI only does what we tell them to do. So I found it particularly interesting when the chatbot said, "My focus on truth." How can a machine possibly say "my focus" when it's been programmed to do something?
Well, that's a very good question. You have to understand that there are three things controlling this list of answers and the reaction of Grok, and which is going against the conservative views of many of the users. Number one is when it was trained on a mainstream data set, and also in scientific evidence. And above that one, there's something called balanced, reasoning. Meaning what? It's looking for correlation between the facts. I'll give you a simple example, Andrea, about this. Let's say that there is a question about vaccine, and you have some people who believe there is some issues with the vaccines. The data set that trained this system is coming from CDC, it's coming from the WHO, the World Health Organizations. So all these kind will be going against what the human is talking about it. And this is why they look at it as, okay, look at this one, it's not telling us what we want. This is where you have this disconnection here.
Okay, so what does that say? Because when, Elon Musk was launching this, he was saying that this is going to be something that, cuts through the bias of what's out there already. But the fact that this machine is delivering information that goes against what some people think, does that poke a hole in the idea of what this AI is supposed to be?
Well, Elon Musk does not have control on the data sets. They collect the data set from everywhere. So it basically is looking for the information that will train the system. And the system always trained to do the likelihood, basically looking at the statistical correlation, which is this information is related to this information, related to this information. We call it the truth, which is if you have some kind of confirmation from multiple sources, that this is basically true. So this is why the system is calling that. So he doesn't have that control. I mean, it's huge data. So there is a small set of it that's coming from the conservative side. That's why the impact is not what expected from, a chatbot like Grok.
So when someone says, well, the chatbot's not true, because it's pulling information that they don't agree with, how do you combat? Is there a combat against that? Because you're sure that in today's political divide that this is going to come up, right? But what would you tell folks?
I mean, the chatbot will do that, according to how it's programmed and trained. But there is another point here, which is over time could change some of the answers we're looking for, something called reinforcement learning through human feedback, which is if there is enough people telling the chatbot, and I'm talking about millions in this case, telling the chatbot, no, your answer is wrong, then it's going to start modifying the behavior to give an answer which is slightly off what being trained on. But we haven't seen that because the mainstream has certain views which is looked at as, lefties or, liberal views. And this is why we have this kind of disconnect. This is why the MAGA, audience are not happy with some of the answers we have seen on this chatbot.
All right. So, but can the chatbot itself, based on the data sets that's out there now, differentiate, even if many people were to say something that is contrary to what the chatbot's data set, bills to be the truth, can the machine differentiate between what people are saying as opinion versus what data sets say is the truth?
It's looking for facts, not agreement. That's the bottom line for the chatbot. Number two is there are some of the advanced AI, chatbot, and I'm not sure about if Grok is one of them in this case. They have something which is a data set that will go against misinformation, which is basically a huge list of misinformation that listed from trusted resources And thus, this kind of list will be also used to train the system. So if there is an information and this information is not true, and people keep saying, no, this different, the system or the chatbot will go to the source. And I give an example of the CDC, the World Health Organization. Those are trusted sources or news trusted sources, and compare what the feedback to whatever is given to the system. And they say, hey, this is not going to work with this one. Fact is fact. And I think all of us try something with other chatbot like ChatGPT. You say, you're wrong, you have to correct it this way. But it insists that this is the right answer, because that's where is the training for both the truth and the, any kind of misinformation.
As an expert in this field right now, do you still have confidence in the development, the data sets of AI chatbots as they are right now?
Well, it depends on how big is the data set. The more data set you have, the more you're going to see that you have different, information, different views. So we are still at the beginning of this evolution. So having a judgment about it is going to take a while for us to really trust it. This is why it's very important, if you have an answer from the chatbot, to go and check it yourself to make sure that it's really matching what you're looking for. So we're still at the beginning. The judgment, it's going to be within a few years. We're going to say, okay, just trust what the system is telling you.
Well, you're the expert, so double check even what the chatbot tells you. Ahmed Banafa, thank you so much for joining us from San Jose State. We appreciate your insight into this.
Thank you.
All right, coming up on Mornings on 2 the 9.